Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry. Today's video is going to be my summoning session on the Wedding Bells Summon Showcase. I decided that this showcase was just too cute to pass up on, so I am here to summon for one of these Wedding Bell characters, hopefully. I have 60 single summon tickets and I have about 20k Wormite saved up. I'm not planning on going crazy on this showcase since I do recognize there's a very real possibility that we could be getting a limited showcase or just another fun seasonal showcase for the summer after this. Since this showcase isn't limited and these units will be available in the future, I don't want to spend too much, but while they're on a rate up, I do at least want to give myself a chance of summoning one of these units. Of course, we have Wedding Alisan, Wedding Aoi, we have Freyja, and at 4-star, Lowen and Wedding Xania. So Lowen isn't brand new, so he wasn't mentioned in the preview, but he is here. And so is Strabog, who is a bit of an underwhelming dragon, but we'd probably just sell any for Eldwater that we happen to pick up. We also have the details on these characters here, including details on Wedding Xania that weren't around for the preview. She's a pretty straightforward healer though. She can heal all allies and remove freeze. Not evident here, but apparently this charges fairly slowly. It takes an additional combo compared to the heal that Lowen has that heals for the same amount but cleanses Bog. So for whatever reason, they made her a bit weaker. Her Love's Protection though can apply regen and buff the entire team's defense, and maybe they made her weaker because that regen effect is so strong, but it's on her second skill, so that is slower to charge. Basically, she's really focused on healing, though. Full HP equals healing of 15%. If you promote her, she gets skill prep of 50%. She has freeze res, and then recovery potency as a co-ability. She'd be good in Void Poseidon if you choose to run a healer there, and the same for Water IO if you choose to run a healer, say, in your auto team. But outside of that, the content has been a bit sparse lately for healers. I'll talk about that more, but we have a lot of singles to get through, so let's go ahead and start summoning, and we'll just continue our conversation as we go, pausing for anything exciting we see. Now, because I skipped last showcase, I would be excited to see a Serena or to see a Nurse Eileen, since both of them are very cute as well. That's really my driver here today. I don't need any of these things from a gameplay standpoint. This is pure want as far as summoning goes. But from a gameplay standpoint, I will say I am just more excited to actually summon now. It felt like I was getting bogged down by dupes a lot since the Wyrmprint removal from the summoning pool. It's just been a lot easier to get the characters I want, and having played a while, there's fewer characters I actually need to collect. But that being said, with Mercurial Gauntlet being as hard as it is, things like random 5-star dragons to put on an AI can actually have a lot of appeal. So although Freyja probably doesn't fit into that category with her being more of a healer dragon, I am still kind of hopeful that we might pick up a few things along the way here, but I think we'll probably stop once we get our first 5-star, particularly if it's on our tenfold. Here we're gonna get a 4-star. It's an Axe, and it's a Karina dupe. So the thing about healers right now is everything seems to be focused on a damage race. A couple of you have commented that you invested heavily into healers or you are a healer main and have found some of these new modes and challenges disappointing because there's not a whole lot of room for healers to actually shine. And I'm of two minds on this. On one hand, I do feel like for the high dragon trials, healers are important. Most public lobbies are going to want a healer. The strategies to run without healers are a little bit more niche. So in that sense, they always have some type of use, but that's really the only content in the game where you could say be a healer main and kind of have your main character be at their full potential. It can also be helpful to have multiple healers in things like auto-battling Imperial Onslaught or auto-battling some of these void battles, But at that point, that's more of a grinding activity than an actual gameplay activity, so you could make the case that you're not actually getting to play and utilize them. So I do think there's still a need, after Mercurial Gauntlet has come out, for some type of wave-based or more grindy survival mode. The problem with Dragalia Lost being a mobile title is, I think they're very reluctant to make something longer and have it be co-op, just because you could easily disconnect from other players, people lose their patience with that type of thing. When you're playing Dragalia, you might only be playing it for a few minutes. So I feel like that's the design limitation they face is, for co-op play, they want things that are kind of snappy, and maybe having harder mechanics or longer fights wouldn't really work well for that. Which then kind of makes you think about solo or single-player play, and was one of the original hopes I had for Mercurial Gauntlet was maybe that would actually be something where there's waves, it's multi-leveled in some way. And so that's kind of what I was thinking with that, but even for that, you can still, if you're good at dodging and iframing on behalf of your team, you can still protect your team and not really need a healer. So yeah, I feel like that's one of the classes that maybe needs a little bit of help the most right now. Here we're gonna get a rock. One of the things about that mode for sure is that it's definitely given me a new appreciation for keeping extra 4-star strength dragons around as fillers for your team. That's something I used to not do. I used to just sell duplicate dragons because I felt like I kind of just want to have one of each dragon in my collection, one max unbound of each dragon. Now I've had to rethink that for sure. Besides healers, I feel like daggers and bows are also in a spot where they could use a little bit of a power upgrade. I know that bows have received a power upgrade once in the past, but they still feel pretty weak compared to all other classes. Part of that is that affliction problem, the fact that a lot of bows rely upon afflictions for damage, and bosses build up that tolerance to afflictions over time. So one thing they could do would be get rid of that tolerance buildup, or maybe lower the tolerance buildup so it increases in like 5% chunks instead of 20% chunks, so you could actually feasibly get more afflictions in per match. That's a possibility. That could actually help a lot of bow characters, but not all bow characters. Even some of the stronger bows who don't rely on afflictions for damage, like Laranoa, they kind of just don't have a place to actually shine. She is good against Void Agni, but because of her stun res, it's hard to actually bring her to Hybernhilda's trial and have her do really well there. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking that bows probably do still need a bump, and daggers as well. And I actually saw a Reddit post about this, and I was kind of thinking the same thing, so I'll definitely link to that in the description below. But you saw with my Orsum Spotlight video how technical daggers can be to play, and they're definitely my weakest class by far. I am really bad at playing daggers, and part of that is it's hard to maintain their combos, space them properly, time the force strike after their jump so you get the maximum possible hits, do that reverse force strike. They're pretty technical. A lot of them have flurry abilities. Let's look at our appearance rates really quick. But despite all of that, to me, Wedding Aoi is just so precious that I have to say she is my #1 requested character from this banner. I hope the Desire Sensor is not at work here, but she would be the character I'd be most excited to actually pull here. I am somebody who wants to... Hey, we got ourselves a Wedding Xania! That's awesome, at least we got a new 4-star out of this. Let's go ahead and take a look. So we have one Wedding Bell at least. I already talked about, her kid and the fact that I think there needs to be a little bit of an expanded role for healers, especially ones like her who their main use would be for void battles. They don't have a higher calling than that really. But she still seems like a cool unit. A very pretty unit with her dress. She already was beautiful before, of course, but I think she kind of got the glow up here, got the pink dress. This time I have it in Japanese audio, so I don't know what she said at all. But I'm glad that we got her. Every new unit is a blessing at this point, since our collection is nearing completion, at least for lower rarities. So one more single summon, and then we are going to go ahead and do a tenfold using Wormite, since we've built up our pity a couple of times through these single summons. What I was going to say earlier was, I'm somebody who eventually wants to max unbind one character of each weapon type and take them up to 50 nodes. I don't know why, that's just a personal goal I have, and right now I haven't done that for daggers, I haven't done it for swords, and I haven't done it for staffs. I've done it for bows through Eleonora, axes through Pietro, blades through Mikoto, wands through Veronica, and lances through Halloween Elisan. And so if I were actually able to get Wedding Aoi here, she is a character I would consider 50 noding, eventually. I am pretty low on Eldwater right now. I spent some promoting my Elisan, so hopefully that's able to help others who are on my friends list. But let's start spinning our Wormite, and hopefully we get something good here. Looks like we're just gonna get 3 4-stars in this first circle. And one of them's a lance, one of them's a staff, and one of them's a dragon. So everything here is going to be a duplicate for us. Let's go ahead and skip. It looks like we got an Eileen, a Lowen, and then a Phoenix. We'll do another tenfold. We should be able to break our pity here and then stop summoning, but sometimes, if you're unlucky, it'll take a little longer. It looks like that might be our situation, but we are getting 4 4-stars, a dragon, and another staff, a dragon, and another dragon. So we'll skip over. This time we got Poliahu, Vojanoi, Strabog, and we got another Wedding Zania. So let's go again. And this time, no 5-star yet. Maybe we'll get a rainbow transformation. Only one gold in the circle, only 1 4-star. So it's gonna be at the very end. And it's a dragon, ouch. So that was a bare minimum circle, got another Phoenix. Pretty bad, we're definitely on the bad side of luck here. You should be able to break your pity rate within about 3 tenfolds, that's average. So we're worse than average, but our 5-star chance has increased to the point that it's hard to justify using singles now because there's a good chance that in a tenfold we could get multiple 5-stars. Here we're gonna get some more doves, but no indication of a 5-star just yet. We are gonna get a dragon, a staff, 2 staffs, 3 staffs, and another dragon. So let's skip forward again. This is starting to look pretty bad. I was hoping to duck in and out of this showcase without spending too much, but gosh, it's looking like we're going to end up spending a lot more than I anticipated. I was feeling like summoning today. I felt lucky starting off this day, but you always have to be prepared for this type of outcome. It's always a possibility in this game. There we're getting a blade, so we'll skip again. Another bare minimum circle. This is probably an indication that you should only go for gala showcases or limited showcases. Our appearance rate is now at 7.5% for 5-stars. So we're close to topping off in terms of our pity rate. And here we go. We're finally going to break our pity, so whatever happens here, we're going to stop summoning after this. Looks like we're only going to get 1 5-star. It is a lance, though. So I think that means... Let's see who it is. Alright, we got Annalie. Annalie is a brand new unit for me, as you can see, so not too unhappy with that. It's not one of our Wedding Bell units, but we did get Zania earlier. Let's see what else we have in store. I didn't pay attention to everything else here, but I saw that sword. Looks like it's not a Serena, it is a Berserker. And Anything else? Just a Strabog and a Vanessa. So we were able to break our pity rates. Unfortunately, only one 5-star after about 7,000 Wormite spent and about 2 tenfolds worth of singles, so 20 singles. That is pretty bad luck, but on the bright side, we did get our Eldwater up quite a bit, and that's before selling some of these duplicate dragons. We got 2 new units, which at this point is kind of a luxury for me. I'll take it. It's 2 additional units I can actually build up and max out. And Annalie is a very good unit. She will be a good unit for me just because I've already built out my Halloween Elisan so much, so she can hold a lot of the same gear as Halloween Elisan and perform a little better in contexts where her poison res will matter. So let's go ahead and go back to the collection. I will power up these units. It's clear I cannot continue summoning now. We have to save, but hopefully you've enjoyed watching my summoning today. Not the most eventful. We talked a little bit about the meta. We talked a little about the new units, staffs, daggers, and bows, and some of the things I'd like to see change with them. I would hope that all 3 of those can get a little bit of bump in power. I still think they're just a fair bit weaker than everything else. I'd be curious to hear what you think of the new wedding units, whether you were able to summon any, whether you skipped. Maybe that was a wiser decision if you decided to do that and had luck like this. I'll go ahead and max node these characters, and hopefully next week we'll have some type of adventure upgrades that we can actually push our characters even further. Maybe that's a means they could use to balance the weapon types a little bit better, or power up some weaker characters. Some of the characters from launch, like Xainfried and Azalith, have just really taken a nosedive as far as their power and viability. I guess Azalith was always a little bit weak, not much has changed for her, but at the start of the game, she was pretty popular. A lot of people liked her. A lot of people felt like she was one of the best units, being the first 5-star adventure on Focus. People brought her to every type of content. In the first raid, where we were fighting against a flame boss, she was crazy popular because it was believed, and perhaps with some amount of merit, you know, if she was your only invested unit at that point, but it was believed that her debuff and her skill were also very good against that boss. As it turns out, her skill is actually really bad. It has a really long iframe duration. She keeps attacking for a long time and can move around, but the damage she's doing with that skill is less than she would be doing if she just did basic attacks, from what I understand about her. So characters like that, if they're staggering the release of whatever upgrade they're doing, I would hope that, kind of like how weapon refines work in Fae, I would hope that the characters who need it the most are some of the earliest ones to get these types of upgrades. Characters like Azalith and Xainfried would definitely fit into that category in my opinion. Xainfried really needs something now that Elisan and Fjorm have basically taken his entire job and entire reason for existence away from him. But now our characters are both at 40 nodes. I'm going to be able to check out their stories after this. Definitely going to be cleaning up my collection, selling some of these dragons, maybe putting that Eldwater to good use, doing some other types of promotions. But yeah, that is going to do it for this video, everyone. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Alright, so since I made that summoning video, I had a slight revelation, and that is that I actually have these 2 5-star summon vouchers that I had been holding on to for what feels like half a year. And we were thinking that they'd probably expand the pool of characters you could get from these at some point. But now, with the fact that I've gotten Annalie from this most recent summoning session, even if they expand the pool by, say, everyone through Silas, my chance of getting a new character is not actually going to get better than what I have right now. So I'm assuming they probably wouldn't add Beautician Zardan onwards into this, just because they're alts of existing characters. I don't think that they'd probably include those. So if we assume that, which hopefully I'm right and we don't get this ticket expanded next week with the adventure upgrade, I think this is probably my best time to cash in on these. As far as our odds go, we're looking for Zainfried, Julieta, or Lucretia. Anything else will be a duplicate, and we should be prepared for that. It's 3 out of 13, basically, to get something new, or around a 23% chance on each of our 2 draws, because we do have 2 of these vouchers here. So in total, we're looking at, between the 2 of these, around a 40% chance that we would actually get something new. So less than half, less than a coin flip. So this is pure luck, but it's not necessarily going to get better odds for us. So this is the point at which I am cashing out these 5-star summon vouchers, and I wanted to share it with you all. Hopefully we do get lucky, but there's a high possibility we will not. Our weapon is a Hildegard. Our weapon is a staff and our unit is a Hildegard. So we got ourselves some lovely Eldwater for our first pull. And let's go in for our second one. Here's hoping it's something we don't have. There's 2 little Fafnirs there, so maybe that's a good sign. And it could be Lucretia, and it's Lily. So we got 2 dupes to end the video, but having realized that this was probably a good time to use these since I got Annalie, I wanted to go ahead and take care of that, get that out of the way. Luckily, we have a pretty nice supply of Eldwater now, so we could start to looking at 50 noting another character, and that's pretty exciting as well. That's going to do it for this video, though. Thank you once again for watching. Thanks for checking out this little interlude at the end. I feel a little bit relieved to finally get those out of my inventory, so I'm not scrolling between pages here. But yeah, I wish you luck with your summons if you decided to pull. Check out my review video. That should be out by the time you are watching this. And take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time.